my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can double cleanse with benzoyl peroxide. Now you only need to double cleanse in the evening if you have worn sunscreen and or makeup throughout the day that you want to properly take off the skin, and then you want to keep your focus on your benzoyl peroxide cleanser to treat your acne. If you do not wear this throughout the day, then there's no need to do a double cleanse. Now, what I understand from double cleansing in general is, first of all, go ahead and take a cleanser that's able to properly take off your sunscreen and or makeup, which can be theoretically a gentle cleanser for your skin type, or even an oil or balm cleanser as the first cleansing step, and then you're moving on to your benzoyl peroxide cleanser. However, I want to work with the most effective way so that whoever is watching this video, and depending on the sunscreen and or makeup that you're currently wearing, it is able to properly take it off. And in my opinion, it just works the best if you're going to work with oil or balm cleansers as your first cleansing step, and then you're going to move on to your benzoyl peroxide cleanser. So here we have some examples that I can personally recommend that are working really well for my acne-prone skin. I do not have any issues with those oil or balm cleansers. They are extremely effective in breaking down even the most stubborn sunscreen and or makeup from the skin, and then you're going to rinse it off, move on to your benzoyl peroxide cleanser, and treat your specific concern. Now, when looking into an oil or balm cleanser, those usually are being applied to dry skin, and then you're going to rinse it off with water later on. And when then moving on to your benzoyl peroxide cleanser, I recommend going with a 4 to 5% strength of benzoyl peroxide, because in my opinion this works the best. It isn't as irritating as a 10% and still is effective to treat active acne. If you should have a 10% benzoyl peroxide cleanser at home, first of all, it may not be needed, since a 4 to 5% is quite effective as well, and it is more likely to cause skin irritation or even dryness, and then you really have to keep the frequency in mind on how often you're going to use your benzoyl peroxide cleanser. Now, I'm not going to cover the frequency in this specific video. I have other videos for this on my channel. But I do want to emphasize that if you see that some dryness or irritation occurs, reduce the frequency and see if that's going to work much better. Now, I want to keep my focus on the demonstration. So theoretically, if you only have applied your sunscreen and or makeup on your face and neck, you can do this above the sink as well. This can work, there's nothing wrong with it. The steps will still be the same as I'm about to share with you. However, for me personally, and depending on where you have applied your sunscreen and or makeup, so your face, neck, ears, décolletage, maybe other body parts as well, I recommend doing this in the shower. This is less of a mess. You're making sure that you can reach every area effectively to take it off the skin. And so this is not what I'm going to demonstrate, that's why I'm now in the shower. However, again, feel free to do it above the sink if that's something that you prefer to do instead of doing this in the shower. Now I'm going to get started with the first step, which is going to be an oil or balm cleanser. Now, if you should have a gentle cleanser that's working well for you, go ahead, this isn't wrong to do, but just keep in mind, I'm going to keep the focus on the most effective way. As an example, I have Beauty of Joseon Radiance Cleansing Balm right here. This is a balm cleanser. Usually balm or oil cleansers are advised to apply to dry skin. This is what I recommend. Sometimes it will tell you can be used on dry or wet way, so then see which one works the best for you, but usually applying it on dry skin will work the most effective to break it properly down, because you're not going to mix it with water. It's just the oil itself. And then if you should have a pump, go with 1 to 2 pumps, depending on how large the area may be. You can use a bit more than that. If you have a balm cleanser in a pot like this, usually they come with a spatula, otherwise just go ahead, use your fingers, grab about a coin size amount more or less, and then there you have it. So that you have enough to cover the area that you wanna use to properly take it off. Now, I want to keep my main focus on my face, neck, ears and décolletage so that you can see the proper application. However, of course, the same would apply if you have sunscreen on your body as well. So make sure that you're going to apply it to dry skin. This can be done in the shower or just before getting into the shower so that you're not going to confuse it. Take your balm or oil cleanser on the palm of your hand. If you have a balm cleanser, sometimes they will tell you, because the texture is a little bit thicker, that you're going to warm it up between your hands so that it turns into an oil before you're going to then massage it all over your face and neck. So you can see it now has turned into more of an oil-like texture so that I can spread it evenly out all over. So if you have one sunscreen and or makeup, or maybe both together, on your face, neck, ears and maybe your décolletage as well, I recommend starting off with the parts where you do not have any makeup on. So this would be in my example, my ears, my neck as well as décolletage. So I would start off with this as well to break down the sunscreen at first, and then I'm going to move on to the makeup part, so that I'm not going to smear my makeup around my ears or even neck and décolletage where it's not needed. So I'm going to start off with the non-colorful parts, and then I'm going to move into the makeup parts so that you then can properly take it off the skin. So I'm just going to apply to the face as well so that I have some product on, but I'm not going to massage it over my face yet. I want to get started with my ears because this is the most trickiest part, especially if you have one sunscreen on your ears or in your ears kind of as well. Take your time to properly break it all down. If you can, a mirror helps to see that you're able to properly take it off and then move further down. So now that I have massaged it over my ears, my neck as well as décolletage, I'm going to move on to the face. Now if you should come across in between that you feel like you haven't used enough product, go ahead and feel free to use a bit more so that you're making sure that you can properly take it off the skin. So now that I have broken down my foundation, I'm going to move on to eyes and lips. So this is kind of like the last part that I want to do because it's the most colorful part. So when going over your eyes, make sure that it's not getting into your eyes, and make sure that you're being gentle to not like rub too harsh around it, but still take your time, especially if you have worn a bit more of a stubborn eye makeup as well as your mascara, that you can properly take it off. And then move on to the lips. So now that you have broken down your sunscreen and or makeup from the skin, you can go ahead and rinse it off with lukewarm water to warm water. Now, when doing this above the sink or in the shower, you can go ahead and use a soft and fresh washcloth in between. Those are those makeup cloths, also known as microfiber cloths, which can help you effectively break it all down and take it properly off the skin so that there's no residue left. It even can help you to like reduce the residue that you may have depending on the oil or balm cleanser that you're using, because then it already feels less of a residue as if you wouldn't use the cloth in between. So this is a great tip that I can recommend when doing this so it feels comfortable later on. So now I'm going ahead and I'm going to wet my hair, face and body. I'm going to properly rinse everything off, use the soft and fresh washcloth in between. If you're doing this in the shower, of course you can then later on wash your hair and body as well, but I'm going to keep my main focus on the sunscreen and or makeup that you can properly take it off. So now you can go ahead and take your soft and fresh washcloth in between and go over your face, your neck, ears, décolletage to properly take off your sunscreen and or makeup. And it can even be used to go over specific areas as well which you may have forgot. So now that you have properly rinsed off your balm or oil cleanser, you now can immediately move on to the next step, which is going to be the application of your benzoyl peroxide cleanser. There are different brands on the market. This is not an example that I'm going to use. Now, when working with your benzoyl peroxide cleanser, you can use it over your face and neck. If you should have acne all over, just make sure to leave out the eye area. Do not get it too close to the actual eye, nor use it on top of your eyelids because it still can get into your eyes. Same would apply to your mouth or even nose. Please do not get it into those areas. If that's the case, rinse it immediately with water. Now, when working with a benzoyl peroxide cleanser, as I mentioned, you can use it all over your face and neck. However, if you just should have specific concerns, let's say on your chin or your forehead or only like acne on your cheeks, then it is fine to use it on those parts alone so that you are not going to irritate your skin too much if it is not necessary. So if you have it all over, it's fine to use it all over. If you only have it on a specific spot, well then just go ahead and treat that area. So with this example, if you're going to use it all over your face and neck, make sure that you're going to use about a coin size amount. If you're going to use it on a smaller area, well then go ahead and reduce the amount so that you're not going to overdo it. So I'm going to start off with a little bit, since usually I get acne on my forehead and sometimes a bit on my chin, so this would be then the area that I'm going to treat. So take a bit on your finger and then evenly blend it all over the affected area and massage it into the skin. Now you can massage it into the skin for about 30 seconds to a minute and then leave it on the skin for 1 to 2 minutes so that it can like have its effect on your active acne, or you can go ahead and massage it on that specific area for 1 to 2 minutes instead of just leaving it as it is before you're going to rinse it off. So this would be the area that I like to treat for my specific needs, since this is where I usually get my acne. Of course, if you have it all over your face and neck, well, go ahead, use the rest and then blend it all over. Just again, make sure with your eyes, nose and lips to not get it too close. Now, another way, which is much more convenient to do if you're going to do this in the shower, is if you have acne on your body as well. So that you then can do this without any concerns, such I have, for example, on my shoulder, then go ahead, take a bit of your benzoyl peroxide cleanser and then use it on your body as well to treat that area. If you have it all over your back, you can use it all over your back. Same would apply to your chest. However, if you just have it, let's say on your shoulders, it's fine to just use it on the smaller area as well. And then go ahead, blend it and massage it evenly all over. And then if you like to, you can leave it on there for about 1 to 2 minutes before you're going to rinse it off. Now, what you have to keep in mind when working with the benzoyl peroxide product in general is that there's always a risk that it can bleach your fabric, and this mainly applies to cloths that you may be using in between. As I mentioned already earlier, to remove like any residue from the skin, you could use a cloth in between as well to remove your benzoyl peroxide from the skin. This can work well. However, I recommend working with white ones, because if you have darker ones or colorful ones, they may get bleached. So if you do not want to like get into the risk of having bleached fabric, then please work with lighter fabric. And the same would apply to towels as well. Please make sure that you can properly rinse it off for the skin, otherwise you may have some like circles or so from your benzoyl peroxide because it starts to bleach again your fabric. So keep this in mind when doing so. Now I'm going to rinse it off again with lukewarm water to warm water, and of course if you should feel the need to use the cloth in between, but it may not be needed depending on how well you can rinse it off the skin. So once you have properly rinsed off your benzoyl peroxide cleanser, you now can of course continue with the rest of your hair as well as your body to properly wash it. And then once you're done in the shower, you can step out of the shower, then take a towel and remove the water drops from the skin surface so that you then can continue, if you should have a skincare routine, with your skincare routine. Now I do want to emphasize that if you have combination, or let's say a drier skin type 2 combination, and you're working with a benzoyl peroxide cleanser because you have acne prone skin, follow with hydration afterwards. It doesn't have to be a moisturizer exactly. However, you can just go ahead and add an hydrating toner or maybe essence afterwards to give your skin again some hydration, because benzoyl peroxide cleansers in general can lead to more dryness. Therefore, hydration for such skin types is important. If you have an oilier skin type, this isn't really necessary because you're going to enjoy the benefits of not having such an oily skin type anymore, because benzoyl peroxide can help you to reduce it a bit. So there you have an alternative on how you can balance it out depending on your overall skin type and needs. But it's fine to just continue with the rest of your usual skincare routine. And so then there you have it on how you can double cleanse with your benzoyl peroxide cleanser so that you can properly, effectively remove your sunscreen and or makeup before you're going to treat your acne with your cleanser. Now I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you find it helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it. If you want to see how you can add hydration to the skin, or want to see how you can wash your face above the sink with your benzoyl peroxide cleanser, I have such videos on my YouTube channel. I'm going to leave them at the end of this video. However, of course, feel free and explore on my YouTube channel if you are a bit more into skincare in general. There you will find all the videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.